Well, hi, welcome everybody to another Tech Tip Tuesday episode on St. Patty's Day. Hope you guys got your green. I see Jake's got his, and you know what? If you're wearing your Healy, you already qualify because there's green on it, right? So you're
Yeah.
good to go. Awesome. Hey, my name's Ken Close. I will be your host today, and I'm honored to be so. I'm an engineer, lover of Healy, lover of Healy, pioneer member for I don't know, at least 100 years, and love this technology. So I'm blessed to be joined by a couple of incredible co-hosts, Jake Barron, head of operations. Hey, Jake, how are you?
I'm doing great. How's everyone doing today?
Welcome, welcome. And you're looking wonderful in that green striped shirt for the festive occasion.
Yeah, yeah.
We also have Henry Pena here. He is our head of onboarding. How are you, Henry?
Doing great, doing great. I unfortunately missed the memo of St. Patrick's Day, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you know what? You got your Healy, so you're
Yeah,
good to go,
I
bud.
do have the Healy. I do have the Healy, so
Yeah, you're good to go. That's awesome. Well, hey folks, I'm super excited for our new schedule. Now it's a 30-minute session today, and we're the first and the third Tuesday of every month. So hopefully you guys brought some questions. Let me tell you a little bit about what Tech Tip Tuesday is. It is a chat-based forum where you guys put your questions into the chat, bring your topics, and we will unpack those, solve the mysteries, deep dive into some quantum physics if we have to, but have all kinds of fun in the meantime. So, what we can talk about is all the technology, the app, the hardware, the software, but we can't really talk about anything that has to do with the diagnosis, prevention, or any disease-related recommendations. We're just techie geeks here, loving all the technology, but we can't. So we would love to be able to dive into the body, but well, sometimes we do on the quantum level, but not from the medical level. So if that makes sense to everybody, I'm ready to get started. You guys?
I'm ready to go.
ready, ready.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Well, let's go see what we got in the chat. Here's a question right off the bat about is it safe to take the Healy through a X-ray machine like airport or other security areas? So the cool thing about, I mean, I travel with my Healy all the time, guys. It's hooked to me all the time. Now, I will caution you if you are wearing it and you're cruising through the airports, they may stop you and ask you, "What is this little guy?" And pat you down, all kinds of stuff. So it may take a little bit longer, but I run around with mine all the time. So does it hurt it to go through the X-ray machine? No, there's not really electronics. It doesn't do anything to it. I haven't seen any adverse effects. Nothing in the manual that I've seen that says anything about adverse things. But just know that security may say, "Hey, we detect something on your body and we want to see what it is." Um,
Yeah.
it happens to me all the time.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, in general, whether it's something like Kent, like if you're wearing your Healy through the X-ray machine or something too, or if it's like say packed in your bag, that kind of thing, usually no issue. I think when you're talking like the MagHealy, that might look a little bit unique more on the X-ray machine too when it's going through because of the coil structure and that kind of thing that's in there also. So it wouldn't surprise me if occasionally someone might get like want to someone take a closer look at this type of thing too. But in general, it's usually no major issue. And as Ken always like to say, sometimes it leads to some good conversations about what this is and Healy and how it can benefit you and that kind of thing too. And could have a potential customer on your hands.
It happens to me all the time. I tell you what, I've had the security people ask me questions, take me aside, and then once I tell them, that this is a microcurrent generator, frequency response unit, working with my body. It is my medical device. I call it my medical device. It is my little medical device. They start asking me questions and they want my contact information. I mean, it happens all the time. And in fact, one of the most embarrassing times was I was actually getting on the airplane, and the steward standing there saw the device and was asking me questions. and sat there and asked me question after question, and we're backing up the line. Everybody's trying to get on the airplane, right? And I'm like, I'll tell you what, let me go sit down. You come and talk to me, right? But he was super curious, and so be ready to at least talk about what what you're wearing.
Yeah, and so again, once you've done it a few times, you kind of get used to the process. But don't be worried about going through security with it too. Just don't maybe not take your MagHealy and wear it around your neck like Iron Man or something like that. That might cause a little some questions there too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, so definitely travel with it. And here's the thing about the law. The law says that you are allowed to travel with the things that sustain your health and your body and your normal everyday activities. So that's why I say what I say. It is my medical device. It is what I sustain my body and my health with. And so I can travel with it. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I've been in Dubai.
hmm
I've been in from coast to coast, New York to Seattle, different countries in Mexico. We were all in Mexico, right? We've all been there. And I travel everywhere with it. So some of the areas that might be a little higher in security, they don't care.
yeah.
Okay. So Aaron's asking a question about the Bioenergetic Defense Program. It says no electrodes. Wear the Healy on your body, so don't even turn on the coil. And this is a great question because when we look at the Bioenergetic Defense page, those programs on there give you a picture of how to use the Healy, clip to your pocket, in your shirt pocket, or just on your body, right? No coil necessary, no electrodes, no wires, no connections. So how is that possible? How does it work without anything connected to your body? And this is a great topic to talk about because inside the Healy, there's still a frequency generator. Okay, it still generates a frequency like a radio sending a signal out into the world. Okay, and so the bioenergetic defense programs are designed for that to be the modality, just a frequency being emitted into free space, and wherever the Healy is, it is affecting the demographic, the region in which it's transmitting that signal. And remember, it's got about a 3 feet diameter epicenter or maximum effective range, a 3 feet diameter. So that's a ball. Look at it as a ball. It's a big circle, and that's those great big fitness balls, right? Maybe that's what you can envision. That's how big the field is, but it doesn't end there. It continues on. Now, you can connect the electrodes, and it still is sending out microcurrent during that program. But again, it's not necessary because they're designed to be optimized when you wear the device disconnected. Does that make sense, Henry? You want to add to that?
Well, I feel that one of the things to keep in mind too is that I always tell people to look at the actual instructions within the app itself, and you're gonna see that because I know Aaron asked specifically about the coil. You're gonna see that if you look at the illustration within the app, the Healy with and without the coil looks different. So all the illustrations, actually, if you look, it's kind of small, but you're gonna be able to see that it's the Healy without the coil. So you don't need the coil at all. It uses a very similar technology than the Healy Analyse 2 app does. You can actually confirm this in the manual because the manual does tell you that this specific program group uses the information field technology. So yeah, you don't need the code, you don't need any accessories, but you're welcome to use the wristbands for a more intense application, just as described in the in the app.
Yeah, and here's what Henry was um, referring to here. You can see this is the Healy app manual that you can get to from within the Healy app itself. You can access this, or you can see this, uh, download it from back office, download it from the Healy Academy too. But in the Bioenergetic Defense section, it talks again. This is always a great resource because it talks a little bit about the the program group itself, with the background on it too. And it says, in our experience, the Bioenergetic Defense Program Group unfolds its effect directly in the information field. So it's kind of like a taste of the Analyze app in the Healy app when you're talking uh, information field uh, goes here too. And then, of course, there's some details in here about the information field is a non-material area through which spirit and matter communicate. Again, and also, as we were talking about earlier, it says, in our experience, no electrodes are required, which you pointed out, and as Ken pointed out, you can intensify the effects by using the electrodes if you want to. So it's not required, it's not designed to be used with the electrodes, but if you would like to, you still can. But just keep in mind, you can use it with no coil, no electrodes. Just clip it on your shirt or whatever, and to get full benefits from these particular programs. And of course, there's a little description of each of these programs too. Pretty self-explanatory, but there's a little more detail there also.
So, and I love the way it talks about the morphogenic field and, Akashic record
Mhm.
influence and things that are ancient and traditional wisdoms. And because in modern science, and Nikola Tesla uh, talked about this quite a bit, but the the information field is this invisible field. And if we keep digging down deeper and deeper into science, as we magnify further and further and further, we once upon a time we would see the body, and then we magnify, we saw the cell, right? And then we could magnify more. We wound up seeing these molecules within the cell, right? You keep going down, and then you see the atomic structure of a molecule. And now we're getting further and further into the very tiny and discovering that there's another field, and another field, and another field, another connection. And it's this non-visible arena that unites everything. Unites everything, all the way down to string theory. We keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, but it unites everything. And that united field, infinite intelligence, quantum field, whatever you want to call it, spirit, morphogenic field, it's still a union. And this union has communications, and we can speak to it. It speaks to us. When I say it, it's this field. And when I say us, it's this biology. And when we unite the information field with biology, now we're starting to make alignments. Because in the information field, there's not really anything broken. It's just information, right? Right or wrong, good or bad, day or night, black or white. It's just all information. And the same thing with us as a body, it's just information. But when we have some pain or some suffering or some discomfort, we're going, well, what's the origination? I want to kill it. I want to get rid of it. I want to stop it. And that's the body speaking to us in its way of communicating. And we have now a device to kind of translate between that information field and this biology, and it's done with frequency, right? It's all a signal. When I speak to folks, I talk to them in regards to signal, where we're signaling something, we're influencing something, and we're letting the body's innate ability to heal express by amplifying the signal. And that kind of folds over into another question about the high wave. And so, how do we talk about the high wave? There's another question here about, I've been
Mhm.
wearing the high wave, and people are asking questions. What is it? So again, we're talking about this invisible field. So the high wave, conducts with your body via the stainless steel plates on the back. But what it's doing there is it's actually taking this signal that Healy's transmitting it, putting it on a higher frequency carrier wave. So it kind of puts a blanket over your entire body. Let's just look at it as an information blanket. You're wearing this wonderful information blanket amongst the entire structure of your biology, and it is filled with frequency. The information speaking to cellular structures, biology, speaking to them, influencing them, encoding its information into your biological information. And remember, the body builds itself on codes. What code? The DNA, the genetic codes to every single cell. It's on purpose. It's intelligent. And so when we can interact with that genetic coding, right, a big portion of that genetic coding, 97 plus percent of it, is an adaptive gene reading the environment. And it reads the environment in one language, frequency, information. So when we can kind of interact and call that 97% of the adaptive gene, say, hey, adaptive gene, here's the signal I really want to give you. Right now, we're influencing biology. And so high wave gives an opportunity to do that in a more global and unified way where it's consistent throughout the entire body. And not that the other modalities are inconsistent, but let's just say you've got the coil. I'm wearing the coil right now. Okay, the epicenter of this transmission, epicenter meaning the most effective, highest intense spot, is right here where the device is. And the magnetic wave emits out in a sphere, omnidirectionally in a sphere. There's two of them actually. It's a 180 degree off magnetic wave. There's two of them going opposite directions. And I'm in the middle of that. Okay, so it's a very effective way, but it's if I put this down on my foot, the epicenter is going to be down on my foot. If I have it up here on my collar, it's going to be up here on my collar. The electrodes, when you have the electrodes on, then that wire is transmitting the signal to the wrist or wherever you have the electrode, and it's going systemically from electrode to electrode, in that demographic of the body. Is it getting into my foot? Yeah, but the main epicenter is the current flow, the circuit in the upper torso, wherever I'm at. So the highway was designed to make that more uniform and global as far as a transmission. So it's your entire body, every cell in a uniform, even way of spreading that frequency and information. Does that make sense? So how do you talk about that? It's a warm and fuzzy, amazing frequency blanket all over my entire body, speaking to that cell structure, influencing biology. That's how I talk.
Yeah, yeah, and I think within the actual, oh, let me share my screen again. So within Healy Academy, maybe you've already seen this video, but there's a in the science section. So if you go to academy.healy.world, go to science, go to the frequency carrier wave, and that's the technology behind the high wave too. And this video here does a great explanation of why this is so powerful. And when you know, I think it's worth watching this too. You might pick up something that connects with you. Okay, this was how I would like to tell people about it also. But just from the title itself, I mean, if you were to tell somebody that what you have on your wrist is giving the benefits of these frequencies throughout your entire body, all the way down to the individual cells, I think a lot of people will probably be pretty interested to learn more too. That this thing on your wrist can do that, evenly throughout from head to toe to every single cell in your body as well. I think a lot of people will be interested to learn more. But it's again worth watching the video too. Maybe there's some other parts in there too that you would want to describe in your 30 seconds kind of elevator pitch. So
Yeah. And also
So
remembering that it's a multifaceted device too, because ultimately these frequencies have all sorts of different purposes. So that's huge too, because you can say it has frequencies that are for the cells that are benefiting you, but they're okay, but how is it benefiting you? And I mean, all it takes is to have a general idea of all the different programs that we have to understand that it is ultimately a multifaceted device. You can use it for fitness, beauty, mental well-being, pain, all sorts of things.
I often say that Healy and all the technologies, all the modalities that Healy is utilizing is a bridge between that invisible field of information, right, quantum field, and the physical and biological fields of matter, my body. So it's a bridge. It's a bridge taking, like I mentioned, in the field, in the quantum field, there's an imprint of you. There's a blueprint for you. Everybody has a blueprint. There's information. It's information. And within that blueprint, there's no right or wrong, nothing broken or diseased or disordered. It's just information. And so, but yet then that blueprint gets filtered through a consciousness, your individual personality, your belief structures, your assigned meanings, all of that is your personality. That's you, your consciousness. And so you take this perfect blueprint, right? And then you think about it. You decide about it, and it becomes a biology. And sometimes there's a dissonance between the perfection and what you believe. And that body becomes what you believe. Okay. So Healy helps to bridge the gap between the perfection and give frequencies that will realign the things you've believed into material form so that it goes back into alignment. Okay, now can you believe it back out of alignment? Yes. Yes, that's where lifestyle and practice and understanding about what you're actually responsible for. You're responsible for this body, this vessel. Okay? And when we have some disorder, we built that. We created it. Intentional or not intentional, we did so. Okay? So if you guys would make sure that your microphones are muted for me so we don't get any feedback, thank you. Anyway, my point is, guys, that these frequencies are designed to interface, and I use that analogy often. It is a bridge between the quantum field of information, all possibilities, and biological matter. And now we can build a body that attunes to this. Okay? That's just mine. I'm an engineer. I guarantee you, you spend 5 seconds with me, and we're going to go to quantum physics as soon as we meet. I promise you. I mean, somewhere along the line, we're going to be talking about the field. Okay. Let's see. Here's a question. So, about what does it mean when an area of life is red on the coach module? And it's been like that for a long period of time, like 6 months or more. So that's area of focus, yes. In the coaching module, it's got color coordination about, what to focus on most, the most urgent versus the least. And so when it's red, that's the most urgent. And it's the things probably that um, you probably are aware of. And if it's still that way after 6 months, well, first of all, how long did it take you to get there? How old are you? Right? When we're in our fourth, fifth, sixth decade of life, even in the third decade of life, we've built, 30 years building something. And it shows up as biology. What did I just say earlier? Your consciousness is the filter between perfection and biology. And what you believe in, what you perceive, how you use your senses, how we design and puppeteer our lifestyle is what builds biology. Like I said, over 97% of the genetic code is an adaptive gene reading the environment, and you are influencing that. So if it's not changing, there's still more to learn. Continue. Don't give up. Continue. You guys want to add anything to that? I mean, sometimes it's not
Yeah,
set in stone.
yeah. I mean, I'd say it's just a matter of, having the awareness on realizing whether or not that a specific area has changed in your life considerably, and being mindful of, completing the process of vibrating, looking at the list, working on those affirmations that you see there, and actually making changes in your life. Because doing all of that without actually making changes in your life and the way you think won't really make that much of a difference. Um, yeah.
I think that if we, again, how diligent are we about changing something that's in the red? Because that takes work. It takes a lifestyle change, not just a Healy. A Healy gives you the information, you change your life, right? The body heals. It's got its own intelligence. Healy's not healing it for you. The body's doing it itself. It just has to get things out of the way that have been put in as stumbling stones, whatever they are, belief structures, traumatic events that are still attachment issues, things that we're not letting go of, perhaps. So very important.
Yeah, and when, as you mentioned, Ken, that if some of these things may have taken years or a lifetime to kind of get to where they are, to or even passed down from generation to generation. So when you're talking, well, I haven't seen much change in 6 months. I mean, this could be take much longer to work through some of the particular topics that could pop up in the results here as well.
In the medical field, it's asked, there's a question here asked about your family heritage, right? And you saw in Akashic Records, in within the Healy description there, This is information passed down generation after generation after generation. The cool thing about humans is a human can evolve in one lifetime, where other organisms, plants and animals, take generations, hundreds of generations to evolve. But we can do it in one lifetime. Why? It's called free will. It's called the reasoning mechanism within the brain. We can change a lifestyle in a moment that down regulates all ancestral influence. And then you don't pass it on. The reason that we look at family heritage is because behavior comes from the ancestors. The way your grandfather did it, the way your parents did it, and you see the example. We are adaptive engines. We look at the environment and we mimic it. There's mirror neurons within these bodies, within this nervous system. To survive, we want to fit in. Well, if that fitting in means, poor eating behaviors, bad habitual lifestyles, that's going to propagate within your body. And you're going to pass it on to your sibling or your children or your offspring. So, evolving in one lifetime means changing your lifestyle. The things that aren't serving you it's time to release them and move on, right? Just because your parents did it, just because your grandparents did it, doesn't mean that it still needs to be done by you. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Another
I had a
question.
question here. So again, about the
Go ahead.
MagHealy Program Overview
Yeah.
PDF. The question was, it's not available on the website. Can it be made available again? So I just looked because I thought it was available, and so it is in the download section. So maybe it was in a different section that you were looking at. But if you go to, let's share the screen again. This is in Healy Academy. So back to Healy Academy. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and go to download section and then sort by type brochure, you'll see the program overview MagHealy PDF, and then you can download it from here. If you go to your back office, same thing. Go to log into your back office, go to tools and then downloads and then select brochure. You'll see that here as well, program overview MagHealy. So it is available in a few different places. It could just be it was in a different section before or whatever, but it is still there. And it's the most up-to-date one with all the Meridian programs and the Macon Plus and everything like that as well.
Awesome. There you go, guys. You can find it right there. You heard it live today on St. Patrick's Day here on Tech Tip Tuesday. Okay, so Aaron's got a question saying some programs say attach adhesive electrodes at a distance of a few centimeters next to affected area. I don't know where the affected area is, like if the woman local pops up on my scan. Okay, so the distance that you place the electrodes has to do with what we're addressing. What are we addressing? If it's women local, what are you addressing? Now, you can also do systemically, but that's the wristbands. What are you addressing? If it is, if something came up on a scan, you feel in your body, and you probably are aware in your body something's going on, right? Something. And where is it? I always say, so body sensations are a huge communications channel. And if you were to close your eyes, ask yourself a question, what do I need most right now? Listen carefully. Listen carefully. And you may feel a sensation in your body. That's where you address it. When there is something going on, say it's discomfort in the stomach or it is an ache in a shoulder, unknowingly why. If we look at the stomach is the second energy center, right? We've got the root, and then we've got the second energy center. That's the stomach, the gut. That's an energy center, and that's a feeling of safety in our lives. And if we're not feeling safe in our lives, we could show up. The energy is going to lower in that center, and some discomfort or disease or disorder is going to show up. Let's say it's in the shoulders. What energy center is that aligned with? Throat chakra. We're not expressing our truth. We're not talking to the world the way we want. We feel suppressed in our lives. We feel like we're carrying the load too much and not being appreciated. Well, there you go. Shoulders are going to feel like, strain and stress. Men feel this a lot. How many guys out there feel this stress in the shoulders? At the end of the day, you're going, man, that's achy, right? If we're not speaking our truth, if we're not interacting with our world, we're not sharing from a authentic position, you're going to start finding a lowering of energy in the center, that energy center, and some biology is going to be affected. Okay, so close your eyes, look inside, find the space in the body that's speaking to you, and then apply the frequencies there if that's what you're asking. Okay.
And if your body doesn't speak to you, your mind also can do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes all it takes is to think of, read the word in this case was women local. What images come into your mind when you read
Yeah.
those words and go based on that? Like there will always be images, there will always be thoughts and instincts that come with whatever it is that you're going to do with your healing. You want to try to follow that.
100%. We have a divine intelligence. We have typically suppressed it with over analytical overstimulation or too much attachment. So okay, real quick, this is lightning round. We gotta wrap it up. Why can I only use 2 or 3 programs a day? This is when it's talking about microcurrent. This is a Healy recommendation to not put that much energy into the body. Listen to your body. Um, Too much is not good. Less is more. Give yourself time. So, can you do more? Yes, but listen to your body. 2 to 3 to begin with. Let your body acclimate, and then go from there. This is the microcurrent type of programs. Coil, not so much. The HighWave, not so much. Okay. All right. And then last question here. Let's see. What's the meaning of spirituality in the context of the coaching module? Non-biological. Spirituality is a field. It's a field that you have your cognitive field, your biological, electrical field, you have your spirituality. What is your meaning of spirituality, right? What is your belief structure? It's in the context of your belief structure, um, and that's where you would want to address.
And it's ultimately subjective. So, I
It,
mean, it will
yeah,
be whatever spirituality means to you, which usually would people would define it as almost like an extension of the self, a process of or the wheel of self-discovery of trying to find yourself, the meaning, whether it's yourself as a human being or yourself as a divine creature, just whatever that means to you. Ultimately subjective, but as Ken said, it's really something that tends to transcend the physical.
and Aaron, last question here, guys. If you're not sure, what's a good central location to use? Your heart. Your heart is an information center. It's its own brain. Women, men, I believe that in our world, in our culture, in our species, probably the most suppressed portion of these human bodies is our heart. We're not opening it as much. We're not interacting through the heart as much. We're suppressing its influence. And believe me, folks, the soul's eyes are the heart. It views the world through the heart. And when the heart is closed, you blind the soul. So if you're not sure where to go, I say speak to the heart.
But of course, don't put the electrodes crisscrossing the heart, as though we're talking electrode placement. But
Yeah, we are talking about electrode placement. So
yeah,
if you're talking about the sticky pads, not
yeah,
across the heart, if you're wearing the wristbands, it's going through the main torso anyway.
yeah.
So the electrodes in a female, the biggest issues typically is within the womb, within the area of creation, the survival mechanism. So you can go there. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being here, Henry, Jake. Thanks for being here, so amazing as you are. Audience, I'm glad you were here today. Please tell a friend if this was helpful. Um, if you
Yeah.
guys if you guys want to save the chat, anything in the chat, there's 3 little dots up to next to Healy Tech Tip Tuesday, 3 little dots. Click on those. It'll be a drop-down menu. You save the chat at the end of the call. It'll pop up and you can save it.
And
Okay.
also remember, for those of you that missed Ken Close last week on Healy Solution Series, that recording is available on our YouTube channel at the HealyLearningHub.com. Definitely check that one out. It was on focus and learning, the topic last week. This recording will be available on our YouTube channel. Should be by tomorrow also. And just keep in mind our new schedule is the first and third Tuesday of each month. So this was the third Tuesday of March. So we'll be back again on Tuesday, April 7th with this sort of faster, shorter 30-minute segment as well, or episodes going forward. So again, we'll start right at the time. We'll get right into it as well and try to answer as many of these questions as we can in each of these 30-minute episodes going forward. But I know you all will think of a lot of things between now and April 7th. So come ready to put those questions right into the chat as soon as the next episode begins.
Awesome, guys. Hey, love you, everybody. Thank you for being here and have an amazing St. Patrick's Day, everybody. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.